What about your mum? This is her second time around.
Yeah.
You know, watching someone she loves step into the ring of such a vicious and dangerous sport. How does she feel about you fighting?
She's super supportive. She's aware of the dangers, of course. But I think it's obviously hard for any mother to watch their sons get hit. And I think it's much harder this way around than it was than watching your husband get hit.
I bet, yes, absolutely. What was her reaction immediately, or initially when you told her this?
Well, at first she didn't really want me to do it. Same as Dad. Dad didn't really want me to do boxing because they knew what's involved. But then once I told them, they were fully supportive. You create your own, you do your own life, you do your own stuff, So now she's fine. She's quite happy. But of course she's worried. Always worried. She's always saying, think about your future after. Think about your future after.
Yeah. What does she say before you step in? Last thing she says before you step into the ring?
I don't talk to her. She's an emotional wreck. She's too hard to deal with. So I try stay away from that.
I got two sons that play rugby league. We have a rule: we don't talk rugby league in the house.
Yeah.
Which is hard because you see your sons about to step in the same potholes you did.
Yeah.
What about you and Kostya? Do you talk
about boxing?
Yeah.
Before the fight, yeah. Before the fight, we always talk game plan. He tells me the same thing over and over again. Just don't get hit.
Yeah, right.
So it feels only that easy. But yeah, we always talk in boxing. Not always actually. Outside the fight, when we're not too far away. He's just a dad at the end of the day. We're talking about normal day-to-day stuff.
Trained by your Uncle Igor and your pop, Boris. Do they train you in the old Soviet way, the Soviet methods?
It's in the Soviet ways. It's more about trying to break the spirit. I've gone through trainings and mental battles that many people won't be able to survive. And again, it's these days boxers don't train this way. It's different. Everyone's how can you say, bludger these days. They're a bit soft. I've always been in that old school type of training, and I think that's what makes me succeed.
What's some of those methods? What's the toughest thing they've ever asked you to do?
It's more mental. The physical part, I can deal with all that stuff anyway, but sparring 12 rounds in the morning and then having a rest and then doing another 10 rounds after in the other. Physically, you're completely exhausted. You can't do it. Mentally, you've got to be able to just push yourself. They try sometimes put you down and say that why you're doing this and this is not for you. But, it's just supposed to fuel you.
I've heard one of the great fighters say that you train 3 times as hard so that the fights are easier.
Much easier, yeah. But also you got to train smart.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to break yourself and come to the ring completely lethargic.
Tim, what's a typical training week for you, say a month out from the fight?
Month out is probably like the peak. A lot of sparring 3 times a week. And with sparring it's up and down because it's an adrenaline rush every time. Not many people feel adrenaline rushes at all. I get this adrenaline rush every time, so everything's up and down. Eating properly, living and breathing boxing, sleeping, and training with my Uncle Igor, running in the morning. It's hardcore.
Mate, horses spill, footballers have off seasons. What about yourself? After the Hogan fight the other night, how long can you just really relax, before you get your head back on?
Yeah, I relaxed for maybe a week, not even actually, and then I started getting into a bit of training, just light stuff, of course, but I'm back into full swing now. But it was just, I don't want to relax because I've got so many things ahead of me. I've got world titles to win. I've got multiple world titles to win, actually, and I'm here to become the best. So again, I can rest in my grave.
A lot of sacrifices, you know, not just as far as diet and things like that, but just relationship sacrifices. That tough, like as far as, you know, you've got mates out there.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't really bother me anymore. Couldn't care less. The main objective is to become the best by any means possible. Everything else can pause and relax.
And downstairs again goes Tszyu. Those body shots are brutal. Body shots are really hurting him. And he is not in this fight.
No, not at all.
At all. He's an all-new Tszyu, and now he's a superstar. Tszyu, with the perfect boxing performance, has dethroned a legend in Townsville.
You're a gentleman, but in the ring you're so ruthless. How do you maintain that balance? And does the Tim in the ring ever get too close to the Tim out of the ring?
No, I never.
Yeah.
Again, it's getting into the zone. And once you're in that zone, you become this animal. You've got this animal instinct in you. And I don't feel it too often, but it comes out during fight night, it comes out during sparrings, and not all sparrings, but during training, and again, not all trainings. Everyone's got a soft side in them, so you know, you just got to be able to juggle it around.
I reckon in the last 12 to 18 months, you know, people, you know, if you walk out and go out for a meal or you go out with a friend, people would recognise you immediately. Has that brought some challenges? Do you ever get guys who try to bait you or try to, you know, see how they go against you?
Nah, not really. I'm sort of used to that anyway, so
yeah, right.
it doesn't really bother me. But sometimes annoying for your partner, for the people around you, but for myself, I couldn't care less.
Tim, I'm a real believer is that the challenges that, you know, your mother and father have gone through somehow, one way or another, sort of bleed into your DNA. Now, your mum and dad and your whole family's from Russia, but it's not St. Petersburg or Moscow. It's out in the countryside, Tszyu of Russia. Very, very tough town. Gone through enormous difficulties. Reading through, you know, Soviet times, enormous shortages as far as food is concerned. What has your mother and father told you about that town?
Well, look, 100,000 people there. A small little Russian town. I got my grandmother from my mum's side still living there, and you know, she lives in a farm. She lives off the pigs, off the land. She has the pigs in summer and then eats them in winter. Eats the vegetables, the fruit that's supplied there. You know, that's how they live there. They live off $150 a month. It's a different world, and you know, if it wasn't for boxing, who would have known? We would have been growing up in a little town in Serov. We're grateful to be in this position of living in Australia, first of all.
You must be building a big supporter base in Russia.
In
Do
Russia?
you hear from fans?
Well, Dad's been saying that, look, the fight's been advertised everywhere now in Russia, so it's getting big, and I hope one day to be able to fight there in Russia. You know, I've got a big Russian heritage behind me. I speak Russian. Grandparents are Russian. Everyone's Russian. So you know, I'd love to go back there one day and have a fight there. What's the Russian psyche? Like the difference between Russians and Australians? Oh, have you met Russians?
You?
No,
I met your dad.
I'm not Russian.
Well, how much have you?
Even Dad's an Aussie now, you know, in Russia.
How much? That's a question because, you know, your heritage is so strong in Russian culture. How much does your pop recognise as being Russian? How much Australian?
I reckon I've got probably 90% Aussie.
Yep.
To 10% Russian.
Yeah.
Culture-wise, I think I'm very cultured in Russian way. Even our celebrations, we'll go through the Russian calendar. We have adopted Australian, obviously, but still the Russian calendar's the number one. But look, I consider myself Australian.
Eastern Orthodox?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever hear from Mr. Do you ever get a call from Mr. Putin?
You know what? My manager said, you know, if we have a fight one day in Russia, the one thing we're asking for is that Putin to be ringside.
Yeah, right.
So that'd be pretty cool.